You know what time it is. Grab your snacks, get comfy, and prepare for some of the wildest, cringiest, and downright unbelievable stories the internet has to offer. From unhinged AITA drama to nuclear-level petty revenge, I'm diving deep into Reddit's best and worst stories, and trust me, I've got opinions. So, if you love messy Reddit drama, savage comebacks, and a little spice in your storytelling, hit that subscribe button and let's get into it.
Today we will be reading from the subreddit Off My Chest. Let's start. My predator brother is getting married. My 21 female brother, 23 now I think, just plead guilty to child rape of my baby brother, who was 5 at the time, now 10. I was the one that reported it initially when baby brother told me. Obviously super traumatic for everyone involved. Occasionally, I stalk my older brother, Jay. Last night, I found his wedding registry. I knew he had a girlfriend for a couple of years, but this is a big shock. It makes me so angry that he just gets to go on living his life and that he's found someone to love him. I mean, they can't even have kids and keep them because he legally can't be around kids. My mom says she knows about his record, but Elle just can't fathom as a woman being with a man who did that to a 5-year-old boy. All want to do is link his files to her entire family, but honestly I'm scared of him. I don't know what to do. I looked through the girl's mom's Facebook last night and it's all, I love my daughter, she's my best friend. She's a doctor and seems like a pretty normal person. I doubt she knows. There will be no long sentence for my brother. Legal system is shit. He's in jail right now, but he'll be out in a couple weeks and then just lifetime probation. He only got to jail in February. So, what? He goes to jail for a couple of months and then just gets to get married and have a new family? Oh, hell, no. I am raging right now, raging. This is beyond disgusting, beyond infuriating, beyond anything I can even wrap my head around. Your predator brother assaulted a 5-year-old child, your own baby brother, and the legal system is giving him a slap on the wrist? And now, what? He gets to waltz out of jail after a few months and live happily ever after with a wife who probably doesn't even know what he did. I cannot process the level of injustice here. How is this even real? How does someone who violated a child, who permanently altered the course of that kid's life, just get to move on like nothing happened? How does he get to have love, a future, a family, when the child he hurt will spend the rest of his life dealing with that trauma? And let's talk about this fiancée for a second. Does she actually know? I refuse to believe any sane, self-respecting woman, a doctor, no less, would knowingly marry a child predator. This screams, he told her some watered-down version of the truth, if anything at all. And your mother? She's out here saying, oh yeah, she knows. Does she? Or are you all just assuming she knows? Because if this woman is walking down the aisle without the full, unfiltered truth, she deserves to know before she legally ties herself to a monster. And I get it, you're scared of him. That fear is valid. But you are also the only one standing between this woman and a horrifying mistake. If he's legally barred from being around kids, what happens if she ever wants them? What if she has nieces and nephews? What if she's trusting him around her family, unaware that she's marrying a convicted predator? I'm not saying you need to put yourself in danger. But someone needs to tell her. If you can't do it directly, find a way. Anonymous emails exist. Hell, mail her a printout of the court documents with no return address. But do not let her marry this monster without knowing the truth. Your baby brother deserved justice. He didn't get it. But you still have the chance to protect another innocent person from being destroyed by this man. This isn't about revenge. This is about making sure he doesn't get to keep hurting people. Let's read the next one. I thought 2 of my best friends ghosted me, turns out they passed away. Used to see 2 of my best friends, Steve and Nikki, at a bar all the time. They were a happy couple, they would do anything for me and I would do anything for them. They were caring, principled and just generally people of very good character. When I was homeless they housed me, when I was hungry they fed me, and when I was sad they showed me a good time. Steve had a 9-year-old kid, previous marriage, and Nikki was an excellent parent. Steve was a cybersecurity specialist and Nikki worked in food service usually. Thing is, both of them had problems with drugs. Steve was a recovering heroin addict, sober from heroin for well over a decade, and Nikki was an alcoholic trying to get sober. They had periods of 60-ish days of sobriety before relapsing usually. Both of them did way too much blow, usually for days at a time. Neither of them knew how to stop. One day, Steve and I talked because he was talking to a woman I previously hooked up with. Nikki was fine with it, he wanted to know if it was okay to engage. I said, yeah, we're good, and we made fun of some politicians we didn't like. That was the last time I talked to him in person and the last time I saw Nikki. A few days later I sent both of them my periodic, homie checkup, text when we haven't seen each other in a while. No response. I didn't go back to the bar for a while because I was trying to save money and drink less. Only when I went back there do I find out that Steve did enough blow that his heart nearly exploded and he had a heart attack. Nikki also had heart issues at the same time, possibly a bad batch, and lasted a bit longer but ultimately passed away. Nikki also had a do not revive, but I'm not sure if that played a role. Steve was a millennial with a house, a child, 6-figure salary, caring partner, and plenty going for him. Nikki was young, lively, plenty of friends and plenty of experience and opportunities to move on with her career or whatever else they wanted to do. Both of them were trying to be good at some point, but addiction ultimately took their lives. I'm so glad sent that homie checkup text, but it sucks that it was too late. This is absolutely heartbreaking. 2 people who had so much love, so much kindness, and so much life ahead of them, gone, just like that. Not because they were bad people, not because they didn't try, but because drugs do not care who you are. Steve had everything, a solid career, a child who needed him, a partner who loved him. Nikki was young, full of life, with so many doors open to her. And yet, addiction still took them both. It does not care about your income, your potential, or how hard you try to fight it. It sneaks up on you, pulls you in, and sometimes, no matter how strong you are, it wins. And that's the scariest part. They weren't outcasts. They weren't lost causes. They were good, loving, trying people. But addiction is a monster that never stops lurking, waiting for a moment of weakness, for one bad batch, for one night too many. This is why drugs aren't something to play with. It's not just about being responsible or knowing your limits. You can be the smartest, most successful, most caring person in the world, and still, one wrong hit can take everything away. And now, Steve's child has lost their father. Their friends have lost 2 beautiful souls. Their dreams, their futures, stolen. This is why you stay away from drugs. Not because someone says, don't do it, but because this is the reality of where it can lead. It's not just a party. It's not just one more time. It's never worth your life. Let's read our last one for this video. 3 years ago my dad, male 47, and my mom, female 43, disappeared, and I think I just saw them both at work. So for a bit of context, my parents and I have always had a bit of a strained relationship. We always fought when I was younger, early teens, but we had definitely gotten a lot closer, and then about 3 years ago, when I was 19, woke up and they were both just gone. We would usually eat breakfast together before they went off to do their daily routine, so when I went downstairs expecting to see them chatting and eating, you could imagine my surprise when not only were they not there, they didn't seem to be anywhere. I tried calling, texting, I called my siblings, nothing. As far as the rest of the world was concerned, my parents might as well have never existed in the first place. For the first few months after they left, it became harder for me to get through the weeks. Without anyone else around the house, I started getting complacent. I spent all my time worrying about my parents who didn't even have the decency to leave a note. There were a few times I genuinely thought they had to have been ripped from their beds in the middle of the night because Elle didn't think it was possible for them to abandon me like that, but our rooms are right next to each other and I definitely would have heard any kind of struggle. So eventually, I came to terms with the fact that I may never see my parents again. That all changed last night. I work in a small local Italian restaurant where I'm mainly the entree cook, and sometimes when it's busy, I run food to tables to help the wait staff whenever I can. Yesterday was particularly busy as we're getting close to school holidays around my area, so more and more families are coming out to eat. Towards the end of the night, a couple walked in and my manager sat them at an inside table where I could make out one of their faces. It looked almost identical to my mother. The only differences I could make out were new blonde highlights in her hair, and unfortunately, her eye color was slightly off, which made me doubt myself for a while. However, she looked too much like my mother for it not to be her, so I decided to get a closer look. After finishing the dishes, I told my manager I was running them out to a table, and once I got there I froze. I just stood there holding a plate of arancini with my mouth half agape. Sure enough, sitting at the table right in front of me were my parents. After 3 years, I finally had proof that they were even alive. For a while they stared back until my dad politely took the plate from me and thanked me. I didn't say anything. I walked back to my bench and I kept working. About half an hour later they left, thanked the kitchen for their meal, and just like that they walked out again. In the last 3 years, they had completely forgotten about me. If ever they come back into the restaurant, I plan to confront them, because now that I know they're alive, all these repressed feelings and memories are coming back to the surface and I need answers. What the hell? You have every right to be furious. They disappeared without a trace, left you completely alone to pick up the pieces of your life. And now they just waltz into your restaurant like nothing ever happened? And the worst part? They recognized you. They saw you standing there, holding that plate, frozen in shock, and they had the audacity to just take their food and thank you like you were some random stranger. This is beyond cruel. 3 years of pain, confusion, and unanswered questions, and they couldn't even acknowledge you? Not even a single word. No apology, no explanation, nothing. How do you just abandon your own child like that and then pretend they don't exist? You absolutely need to confront them if they ever come back. They owe you answers. You spent years grieving them, trying to move forward, and now they're just out there living a normal life as if you never mattered. No. They don't get to do that. They don't get to erase you from their lives without giving you the truth. You deserve to be angry. You deserve to demand an explanation. And if they refuse to give you one, that tells you everything you need to know about the kind of people they really are.
If you enjoyed this video, why not give that like button a little love tap? Just a gentle one, no need to break your screen. And if you really liked it, hit subscribe. It's free, and unlike my gym membership, you can cancel anytime. Got something to say? Drop a comment below. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't, or just say donut for no reason at all.